Mark.
One of the things that a lot of people who get into filmmaking forget that, other than an art form, it's also a business. And we've already talked about this a couple times in the past videos, but we're just going to dive in like how deep and how real it gets if we're going to have some real talks here. So, when you sign a contract, you're going to get paid a certain amount, and to be able to get that amount, you have to abide by the contract or follow the agreements and, keep to the agreements to fulfill like what needs to be done, and then also complete the film. Because if you were to say like violate any part of the contract, there may be consequences, meaning like, or I guess you can say violations. I probably shouldn't use consequence. That sounds like something like straight up from John Wick. Something bad's gonna happen. I mean, there is something bad, which is your reputation of like violating contracts to where all other filmmakers who you may be working with someday or might not even be able to at all because they don't want anything to do with you because you're known for violating contracts. So just know that if you're gonna make films professionally where you're gonna get paid, contracts are going to be involved. And when you sign that contract, be careful of what you're signing up for. In fact, just in other words, think carefully before you accept, because once you sign on, you're pretty much either locked in, or pretty much if you want to back out, it's going to cost you. Some people, they say, "Hey, you signed a contract that says you're going to make this film. If you want to back out, this is the cost." It could be either money or it could be, a damaged reputation amongst the film industry. So just keep that in mind because word gets out quick and they have the paper trails to prove it. So just um, if I now were to say what you should look out for is just look out for the scheduling. Know that um, what they are expecting out of you if you are signing on board to a project. A good example is Chris Evans, right? Known for Captain America. He actually declined the role several times when it was offered to him. I mean, like a lot of people would say, "Is like, dude, you're gonna be Captain America, or you're being offered the role of Captain America. Just imagine that you're gonna be a superhero and you're gonna get paid a lot of money." But the thing is that people didn't realize was that it would have been like at least over 10 years worth of his time to play as Captain America, because he's not just Captain America in his own Captain America movies. He's going to be in the Avengers. He's going to make appearances in other Marvel movies or even shows. So he's going to be locked onto that contract for that amount of time. And on top of that, if he's going to be in other films, he's going to have to, make the time to be in other films too. But the thing is that other films may have different agreements that he has to follow. I mean, that which brings us to Henry Cavill, right? Known for Man of Steel, Superman. While he was getting ready to shoot the Justice League, he was already under another contract for one of the Mission Impossible films. His character in Mission Impossible has a mustache, and the contract states that he has to have a naturally grown mustache, not a prop mustache that you tape onto your upper lips, but an actual mustache. So while he was filming the Justice League movie, they had a CGI remove, or yeah, CGI use CGI to remove his mustache. So, and it was kind of funny too because there were some people that were playing around with it, and some even actually did a better job than the actual film of removing his mustache. But the point is that it was part of his contract to have a naturally grown mustache for the Mission Impossible movie. So if you were to shave it off for the Justice League, just imagine how long it's going to take to regrow that mustache. And apparently, it's not easy. I'd never grown one before, but to a lot of my friends that I have talked about with it, is that it's not easy. You know, you have to not only like grow it, but you have to like take care of it too to make it look, very natural or look really nice. So, and so that's just something that you have to look into is like what the agreement is, because otherwise if you violate any of that agreement from the contract, there are costs to it. So it just depends on what you agreed on. But it's just, again, look at the scheduling. That's always been the biggest issue for me, is when it comes to making films, is the scheduling. Can you be able to take time away from your family or your friends, your wife, your kids, or your husband, to go make this film? Because it could take up a lot more than just a year. It could be a few years, or it could be over 10 years. Like, again, with Chris Evans' situation, is that, you're going to be locked onto this contract because of this role that you've taken, whether it be an actor or a writer or a producer. I mean, like, just all depends on like what your role is and how much time they're going to need out of you. So that's just something I want to point out to a lot of people who want to get into, this industry, is that, contracts are going to be involved, and and your time is going to be very heavily involved in whatever projects you sign up with. I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's like when I write my screenplays, I count myself very fortunate that I'm able to write at my own time. I mean, of course, there's a deadline, but if I were to do that as a day job, it's like, oh yeah, I can definitely get the script ready to go, and we're rolling. And it's like sometimes they may need writers on the set. Sometimes they just say, okay, cool, thanks for the story. Here's your money. Have a nice day. And we'll, talk more about the next script. Hopefully, of course. But I mean, like, just for actors and directors, oh yeah, their their life is usually on the road. So just know that if you're gonna be involved on the set, you're gonna be, you know, you're gonna be gone most of the time from home. That's why it's like I can understand why a lot of celebrities, like actors or directors, or just basically anybody that's always on the road making movies, when they get back home, they want to spend as much time with their family and friends before, they have to be back on the road to make more films per the contract. Because, when you're finished with one film, you only have an opening, for your friends and families until it's time for you to, like, be off on the next film. And you can't miss the schedule either, because again, it's on the contract. If we got to start filming in the fall, we're filming in the fall. It's like no later. And if we got to film a movie like during the winter time, hey, shoot, sorry, you're going to miss out on Christmas this year. And so that's just the harsh realities of like filmmaking, is that, certain projects need to be done. And when you sign a contract, it's there's no really escaping it unless like you take a loss. It could be either money, or it could be a reputation, a bad reputation, that is, for not following the contract. So just think carefully before you accept.